I think it goes without saying that when Dark Magician is mentioned, you think of magic or spellcasting. This is something I believe the Ultimate Wizard has lost in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! The magic of playing DM and quite literally good spell card support. In today's time and constant fluctuations of formats, it's easy to assess these new cards and decide quickly if they will not work with our beloved archetype or not. But what if I told you we could look to the past, unearth some of the most powerful spells ever inscribed in Yu-Gi-Oh! And reignite that spark for Dark Magician and rid the world of these meta shadow games? To understand the past, we must have some sort of grasp on the now. We just got out of what seemed like forever, a format where no matter what deck you played, your opponent had half a deck of hand traps that stopped your combos or outright stopped you from playing the game, with what seemed like little or no cost to them. How does this affect the Table 500 archetype? Well, for the Shining Sark players, we all know that we died a droll. But to be fair, so do most decks. You may be able to power through an Ash or an Imperm, but without playing the unnecessary cards like Cross Out or Called By, which to some might not be unnecessary, we just lose to these decks because of hand traps and not being able to play the game. I believe in fair, so in order for Dark Magician to stand a chance until the new support arrives, I will be testing Runic Shining Sark. I suspect some folks might not find this in good faith, and that's okay. I just want to start the conversation with a different approach for all Dark Magician players. I also know profiles have been made for Dark Magician and Runic, but most of them are well over a year or two ago, and I haven't seen a Shining Sark build with it yet. There are several things I believe this deck has to offer. Not including the new support just yet in this build, but we will show a profile that includes the new support. This is the first time a this or that deck felt good. And today, it's a this or that deck isn't entirely accurate. The synergy between setting up Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, or even Silent Magician lines with Future Silence to draw into even more Runic cards feels broken. I know the drawback of Runic is skipping the battle phase, but that's okay, and here's why. Shining Sark can handle that with Turn Silence. Potentially both players not having full battle phases is fine, because the Runic engine will facilitate the necessary pushes without even doing battle. That's not to say we can't battle. I am still adjusting ratios to try and find the most optimal balance of engine and non-engine. The primary build focuses on control and attempting to maintain field presence against whoever we're playing. The second build, which includes the new support, can help put out big bodies and negates, just making it that much harder for our opponent to compete with the field presence and control. I will present both profiles to you now. And before we get into this profile, guys, I just wanted to give a special thanks to my good friend Matt for gifting me with these awesome freaking cards, man. He just came over the other day. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he said he had some stuff for me, and he did not disappoint. Like, look how freaking cool these cards are, dude. Some of them, or most of them, are in QCRs and stuff like that. Obviously, the Japanese print, and then he also hooked me up with the Rushstool Blue Eyes. Some of you might know I tried to order a Dark Magician some months back and I never got it, so that's my beef with eBay. But all of these were pulled on Whatnot that he had gotten for me, so special shout out to you, Matt. Thank you so much, man, for thinking of me. These cards are so freaking cool, especially the 10, the Gem Mint 10 Dark Magician Girl that he hooked us up with. So thank you, Matt. You're the freaking best, man, and I appreciate you. Alright guys, so we're going to jump into the profile really fast. I think everybody here knows what most of these cards do, so without wasting any time, we'll just jump into the profile, and I'll just kind of give my thoughts and why I chose these cards along the way. So for the Shining Sark build, we have one Dark Magician with 3 Dark Magician Girls, as well as 1 Gandora and 3 gadgets. I mentioned earlier about working on ratios. I'm still in that process, and I really want this to be a building block for anybody who wants to attempt a build like this, because I do think Runic And Runic Dark Magician specifically, whatever that route is, either Pure or Shining Sark, has a lot of potential right now. And again, this is just going to be the beginning building blocks of potential builds for anybody who wants to attempt something like this. So this one Silent Magician, again, we're going to work on ratios as this process unfolds. And for the Shining Sark spell cards, we have 3 Shining Sark, I think is always mandatory, 2 Future Silence, and 1 Turn Silence. Turn Silence is probably one of my favorite cards in the Shining Sark archetype, and I think it can be argued that this can be bumped up to 2 and Future Silence can be 1, but Future Silence in this particular build might outshine Turn Silence because of the draws. Granted, you're giving your opponent draws as well, but in the grand scheme of Runic Shining Sark, they could possibly be redundant if we can draw into those Runic spell cards. And then the 1 copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. These are the Runic cards. We have 2 Runic Fountains. We have 3 Destructions. Very standard stuff. 3 Curses. There's a little bit that's off, and I'll explain why. 3 Slumbers, and the reason being is 3 Runic Tips. I don't own everything, so 2 Flashing Fire and 1 Golden Droplet. I would probably exchange the 1 Droplet for another Fire, but I don't own any. So, and these are the hand traps. We have 3 Ash, 3 Fawalis. That might get changed into some Perulias or cutting something else. Again, to mess with the ratios, to see if we can fit Perulias in here, depending on the matchup. And then 2 Super Polys. I'll show you the extra deck because the side deck for this is, I don't even know if you can call it a side deck, is exchanging 2 Super Polys, just 2 main card decks, for 2 Gaze of Timaeus, which will drastically change the extra deck. But I'll show you the extra deck first. For this build, we have the 1 copy of Dragoon, 1 Dark Magician, Chaos. Again, don't own everything. This would be 2 Hugins, but this is proxied for Hugin because I don't have one. And then the Super Poly targets, just standard stuff. We have Predaplant, Starving Venom, Garua, and Mud Dragon. Mud Dragon is actually kind of OP. Like, I used this effect the other day and I didn't realize that it can make anything its attribute that you claim. So if you have Hugin on the field, you can save Hugin potentially by not having to banish itself if something's target, by making Mud Dragon a light. So pretty fun. Keep that in mind. We have IP, SP, and then for the Xyz, the 1 Typhon and the 1 Hope Harbinger. I don't love that we have to play Typhon, but we're here. 1 Chaos and 1 Black Luster Soldier. Extra deck is something I've always struggled with, guys, and if you guys have any suggestions on anything better, please leave them in the comments below. For a build like this, I would love to hear it. For the main deck, the only thing that you would take out would be the 2 Super Polys. So we'll take these out in exchange for 2 Gaze of Timaeus. And then what changes in the extra deck is this. We would run 2 copies of Demok, 1 Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, and then for the Xyz plays, number 38, another one we're keeping at 2 so we can get into the Draglubion and 100 line. And in this extra deck, I do believe we would take out, obviously, all of the Super Poly targets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as probably Black Luster Soldier and potentially Chaos Angel. And I would just put these cards in. So that is it for the deck profile, guys. Please let me know what you would change, if anything, or if you like this build, and I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. All in all, I'm very happy with this list, and I'm beyond excited to test it out. The anticipation for the new Dark Magician support has spoiled me, quite frankly, and to be completely honest with you all, I haven't wanted to play anything except for the new support. So to find a build that is exciting and good was hard for me, especially with the bad history I have with the Runic cards. I attempted to play this over a year ago and got so frustrated with it that I shelved it. I'd like to think that I've gotten just a little bit better as a player, and I'm ready for the challenge that is Runic Dark Magician.